Hey guys, happy Tuesday, and we all know what Tuesdays are about, tacos. So happy Taco Tuesday, and welcome to my kitchen. This will be the workspace that I'll be filming most of my videos. It's not very large, but you have to make do with the space that you have. So if you're anything like me, you love tacos, and we all know that having the same style of taco every time, it can get a little bit monotonous and a little bit boring, and it can also be a little bit fattening once you add all of your toppings and your cheese and your sour creams. So I really like to add a spin to it for myself. My family will eat traditional tacos, but I like to do a little bit of a healthier spin with it. And for today's recipe, we are going to do sweet potato taco boats. What's really great is sweet potatoes are super healthy. A lot of times people think that potatoes in general are bad carbs, but because it's a complex carb, it actually takes a little bit longer to break down in the body, but it has a lot of really great nutrients for you. And it's actually one of my favorite things to use. We do sweet potato fries, sweet potato chips, mash, fritters, I do hash. I really utilize sweet potatoes in a lot of the dishes. They're high in antioxidants and high in vitamin A and C, which is great. So this recipe we're gonna make, it's gonna be taco stuffed sweet potatoes. What's really great, it's gonna take you about 30 minutes max from beginning to end to make this, unless you decide that you want to bake your sweet potato in the traditional way. That could take you about an hour to 75 minutes. What I like to do is you can use your microwave. What you would do is just take your fork and poke some holes in here, and you're gonna microwave your sweet potato for about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the size of the sweet potato. What I always use, it's my favorite kitchen appliance and the best money I've ever spent on anything, is my handy dandy all-in-one Cuisinart air fryer. It does have a bake and a convection bake mode, which is fantastic. And all you have to do is wrap your sweet potato in tin foil, throw it in at about 375 on convection bake for about 30-35 minutes. You're gonna wanna take continuously check on it and make sure that you're not overcooking it. And for today's recipe, I went ahead and I did mine a little earlier. I also do, when I'm meal prepping for the week for my family, I do like to prep a bunch of sweet potatoes in various ways so that we just have them for the week. So I will dice them up and bake them or roast them. I will slice them into just rounds so that we can have, I make fries, or I will bake some so that we can have mashed or baked throughout the week. And when I am working, it really takes so much time away from that prep that when I come home, I can just whip up a meal and we already have a side dish, whether it's breakfast or lunch or dinner. So I have my baked potato ready. And this is gonna be great, guys. What's really great about tacos is that you can make them however you want. I'm gonna go more of that traditional taco that we all know with the ground meat, and we're gonna make it super simple. Cooking does not have to be hard, and that's what I love. I really love showing people that you can make quick, easy meals, and it doesn't have to be this super fancy meal with these super fancy ingredients. You can do a lot of great things with household seasonings and packets. And honestly, guys, simple is best. I really try to have some ingredients at hand that will make my life a lot easier. I literally use the same 4 spices every day. And just tweak them a little bit. I always use sea salt, I always use pepper, I use a Italian seasoning, and then you have your fresh herbs, you know, stuff from the garden or your dried herbs, and it really makes all the difference in the world. And of course, lemon and lime. So for today's recipe, you are going to need, we're doing ground turkey. We try to limit our red meat intake, and when we do eat red meat, it's usually steak, venison, or bison. My husband hunts, so we are so lucky that we get venison in the wintertime, and then we freeze it and have it throughout the year, which is fantastic. I do also make these tacos with bison or venison, but for today, we're gonna go a little bit lighter and healthier. So I have about 1.5 pounds of ground turkey, 85% lean. We are going to have 1 shallot. You can use red onion or white onion, Spanish onion if you'd like instead. Whoops, it's a little slippery there. But I'm gonna go shallot because it's a little bit milder, and my 20-month-old will probably eat it a little bit better. So you're gonna wanna peel this and dice it. You're going to have some tomatoes. I love these little cherry tomatoes, and they add a pop of color, so you're going to want to dice those as well. I would normally make guacamole, guys, but I'm not making it today. I want this meal to be super quick, super fast. So I bought store-bought guacamole, so you can get whatever kind you like. I like this holy guacamole with salsa verde in it. Gives it a little bit of a kick. You can use a salsa if you want. You can use a pico de gallo if you want. Totally your choice, however you like to top your tacos. I love black olives. I snack on them. I make pasta dishes with them. I use them all the time in cooking instead of adding salt to a dish because they're salty enough. So we're gonna slice some of these up. I love a little bit of heat, so we're gonna have some jalapeno. As you can see, I have been kind of chopping away through this. Funny story, I think it's funny. When I was pregnant, I think it was with my son. One of the times I kind of knew I was pregnant was I would eat these like apples. I would just eat jalapenos, and I was like, wait, this isn't normal. So there we go. But jalapeno, you can slice that, dice it, chop it however you'd like. We are not going to use sour cream today. I try to stay away from sour cream. I just feel like there's not much nutritional value to it. And I do tend to stay away from dairy, so I may or may not put cheese on this, completely up to you. But instead of sour cream, I always use Greek yogurt. So I just use Fage, 0% milk fat Greek yogurt, and I top that as my topping instead of sour cream. And for seasoning, guys, it's up to you. You can do your own taco seasoning if you want, totally fine. I honestly, tried and true, Old El Paso, the lower sodium one, and it's super, super easy to do. So let's go on ahead. You're gonna want to put this, I'll move you guys a little closer to me. All right, guys, so we have our pan heating up at medium heat. Now it's gonna be the time that you're gonna want your sweet potatoes to start cooking. So if you're gonna do them in the microwave, again, take your sweet potato, make sure that it is washed. I tend to wash them before I put them in the refrigerator. And yes, I keep mine in the refrigerator, your choice, but for me, they just last a little bit longer, doesn't damage them. Poke some holes in it with a fork. You're gonna put it in your microwave on high for 10 to 15 minutes so that can cook. And while that's cooking, your sweet potato is cooking, you're gonna start browning your turkey meat and some shallots. So while that's heating up, guys, and again, like I said, I like to use shallots just because they're a little bit, to me, they're a little bit sweeter, they're a little bit milder, and they're a little fancier. I don't know, I think a shallot's a little fancy. And it just adds a nice little flavor to it without it being too overpowering. Now this is something I'm going to feed to my 20-month-old. So I try to keep the flavors mild, and we give her a little spice on the side. So you're just gonna kind of wanna rough chop that. You can make it as big or as small as you'd like. I'll show you guys here what we've got going. And we're just gonna kind of rough chop it, guys. Don't mind my messy knife skills right now. I'm just trying to show you on this camera. And this really isn't the best knife. So my husband for Christmas got me a new knife set, which I desperately needed because I had the same knives. For, my gosh, since I first moved out when I was 21. So for about 20 years, I've had the same set of knives. And it was time. So for Christmas, I got a really great new set of, what are these? Zwillings, I think they are. Yeah, so J.A. Henkel's the Zwillings. And so I'm really learning and adjusting to the knife set still because I was so used to my knives. All right, so your pan, off the subject. Your pan should be warm by now. You're gonna add your ground turkey first. Let's get you guys a little closer. I promise, guys, as these videos go on, we will have a better system. But I'm still learning. So that's what it's all about. And it's fun, and it's real. All right, so you're gonna put that in there. It's really hard, too, with a small kitchen. I always say that my next house is gonna have, I don't care if the rooms are small and the house is tiny, but the kitchen needs to be a lot longer because it's my favorite room in the house. So you're gonna have this start browning. I'm gonna raise the heat a little bit more for time. So while that's starting to brown, I've already chopped, as you can see, I've already chopped my shallots. You can add garlic if you'd like to this. You don't have to. And then we are going to get some bowls here. Sorry, guys. We're gonna take your black olives, guys. I love these. These are like such a nice special treat. And you're gonna just want to make some slices with that for your topping. This is the boring part, but it's gonna show you guys. You can dice them if you want. I like to top my sweet potatoes with like the little rounds. I can eat black olives all day long. Like I said before, it adds a nice saltiness to the dish instead of actually having to add salt to your dish. Plus these little packets of taco seasoning, even though they say lower sodium, it still has quite a bit of sodium in it. So we have our meat browning over here, starting to brown over here. I'm gonna add the shallots into there so it starts really getting the flavor. Okay. I love these. I can snack on these all day. Black olives and capers are like my favorite things, just to add flavor into any dish. And then you're gonna take your tomatoes. Again, I'm using these cherry tomatoes. I just started my first garden and I can't wait. We have 3 tomato plants, 3 cherry tomato plants, and I cannot wait, guys, until my tomatoes come in. There is nothing better than a fresh tomato. If I almost cut my finger off. All right, so these I just like to I like to kind of cut them into 8s. I don't want them to be too big. I want them a little bit smaller than bite size. You can go heavy on the tomatoes. You can go light on the tomatoes. It's really your preference. I do try to load this with as much veggie as possible. I mean, eating this is a lot fuller, and there's gonna be a lot of different flavors going on, a little bit sweet, a little bit savory. All right, so we have our tomatoes chopped as well. And then I'm gonna slice up my jalapenos, and we'll start stirring the meat and making sure it's brown. So we have the ground turkey with the shallots now browning. What I like to do is kind of go against what the packet says. It always says brown your meat, and then you're gonna add the packet to a pound of meat with 2/3 of water. I like to take this packet. I don't generally use the whole packet. I just want some of that flavor in there. I may use closer to the whole packet today because we're doing about 1.5 pounds of ground turkey. But what I like to do is, instead of waiting until the meat is ready, especially when I'm using ground turkey or chicken, I like to add it as it's starting to brown. So that way it's really incorporating the flavors, it's really getting in there, and it's cooking with those flavors. It'll be a little bit richer. As we all know, turkey and chicken, ground turkey and chicken can be a little bit drier compared to our beef or our bison. So as you can see, here's your meat. And I'm just sprinkle a little bit on there, probably about 1/3 of the packet. And we're going to mix that on up and continue to cook it over medium heat and brown it. You guys, this recipe's almost done. As soon as this is done, you'll let it sit for a couple of minutes, just so that the sauce will thicken a little bit. And then we'll go into stuffing our sweet potato. So I don't know about you guys, but I can eat this all the time. I also like to, in addition to doing sweet potato, if I want to go even a little bit lighter on the carbs, let's say if I've had more carbs throughout the day. Listen, I am not ashamed to eat carbs. I love carbs as long as they're, you know, within the right mix. But sometimes you want something a little bit lighter. I do stuffed zucchini boats, so those are really great also. And with that, you can just, you would slice your zucchini in half, and you would scoop out the inside and kind of fill it up. But we can do that on another day. So that is just about ready, guys. I'm going to go ahead and add some more of the packet. Oh, it smells so good. I love Taco Tuesday. I mean, who doesn't love tacos? I can eat tacos all day long. I can eat this kind of tacos. I really do love traditional Mexican tacos. I love fish tacos. I've tried them. I've tried them all. I haven't tried a taco that I didn't like yet. And of course, margaritas go. Tacos pretty good too. But it's a little early in my day, so I'm going to stay away from the margarita. So this is pretty much cooked. Cooked through. I used just under a whole packet. So I used about 1/2 packet. So that's great because I'm going to have some left over for another day. And I'm going to do about 1/4 cup of water. The turkey has released a lot of the water, so we're gonna keep that in there instead of draining it. Some people like to drain it. I just could keep it in there, it's extra flavor. So I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of water, not even a quarter cup. I'm going to bring that up to high heat, bring that to a quick boil. And with turkey, you want to make sure when you're using any kind of poultry, you want to make sure that the meat is all the way cooked through, guys, because you don't want to get sick. Where if you eat a burger or ground beef or steak, sometimes we can have that a little bit more on the medium rare side. But with poultry, you always want to make sure that it is cooked all the way through so that you don't get food poisoning or get sick. So now that this is browned and all the way mixed through, we're going to let that sit for about 2 minutes. We're going to go ahead, we're going to slice our sweet potato in half. All right, so now it's time to build the taco bowl. Our meat has sat for about 2 minutes. We sliced our sweet potatoes on open. I like to take a fork and kind of just mash it on up like this, just so that way you make some nice grooves and crevices to get extra meat and all the delicious flavors in there. So as you can see, we're gonna kind of mash that on up a little bit. I'm gonna take a couple scoops, top it with the meat, and then put all of our toppings. So here we go, guys. All right. So good. This is gonna be so delicious, so tasty. And what's great is that you can really put whatever flavors you like on this. I haven't tried doing this with shrimp yet, but I would think that if I was gonna do it with shrimp, I would maybe add some mango or some other really great flavors on there. All right, I'm gonna do again, this is our avocado, our holy guacamole, avocado with salsa verde. It's pre-mixed, guys, it just makes life a lot easier. Top it with a little bit of that. We have our Fage Greek yogurt instead of sour cream. Let me get this a little bit nicer. Baby spoons come in handy for everything. And you guys can get as creative with your toppings as you'd like. But these are some of my favorites. And what I like, again, about using the Greek yogurt, guys, what I really like is the fact that you are now getting, let's put it up a little bit, you are now getting a little additional protein to your meal. So we have this. I'm going to put my tomatoes. You guys, this is so good. My black olives. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be delicious. And my jalapeno slice, guys. And here you have it. You have taco stuffed baked sweet potatoes. Nutritious, packed with antioxidants, and lots of protein and veggies. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure to like and subscribe to this page. Make sure that you're following me not only here on YouTube, but that you also follow me on Instagram. Be sure to share with all of your friends and keep up for all of our new recipes. Bon appetit!